Breaking news in the studio, Dan used his wife's leave-in conditioner today. Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. With the new Proline app, you can make every pitch more interesting all baseball season. Download it today. I'm Lindsay Dunn, alongside Cabbie and Dan. And Dan, did it make your hair any softer?
I think it actually worked today. You know, well, it's feels like a good hair day. So
most important thing is thank you for showering before coming to work. And did it ever shower in New York? How do you like that? There was a rain delay, which was very upsetting, but
everybody that was waiting on a Trey day.
Yeah, but the Trey day did not disappoint. But also the pitching duel. You had 6 innings of no walks, no runs, 15 Ks between Yesavage and Schlittler.
Yes, you said it right.
I know. I was like, I definitely call him something else off air. I think everyone could put 2 and 2 together. But Cabbie, the rain delay, we can tell you how Trey spent the rain delay. What were you doing for about, 2 hours? Probably watching every other sport happening in life?
Yeah, I was watching the Avs and Golden Knights game, as well as
you were with your pom-poms cheering on Mitchie last night. Yeah, okay.
Brother. The magician has never left, bro.
All right.
My guy's out here dancing through the zone like a TikTok dance, bro. The no-look pass to Skorofiev. Mitchie!
Oh, my goodness.
Which was what was in our group chat yesterday. It was Cabbie going, Mitchie! It made me laugh. I loved it. Yeah, we'll definitely get to that in a moment.
But I do want to know, so Yesavage said he had 3 energy drinks during the 2-hour rain delay. He drank 3 Red Bulls, walked around and watched his buds play cards while everybody else waited for the game to start. 3 Red Bulls in the space of 2 hours, Cab. You're the resident energy drink guy on the show, so I need to know: tell us, is this medically okay? I guess it worked for Trey.
I can't give you an answer on that, but I approve of that strategy, bro, because the dude was lights out. It was beautiful, like striking out Aaron Judge 3 times, handling Ben Rice, like those 2, and Cody Bellinger. I don't think Cody Bellinger got a hit until the 7th inning, till Trey was gone. But man, that was an impressive, as Lindsay said, a pitcher's duel. At the beginning in that game, Schlittler versus Trey Yesavage. Trey's only 22. This bro in 2 starts against Dan Schulman said this after the game, or after his start, as he's hugging John Schneider, giving a dap to Pete Walker in the dugout. In his 2 starts against the New York Yankees, 11 1/3, 3 hits surrendered, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 19 Ks. Bro is 22 years old. Game 1 of the ALDS, and then last night in the Bronx, it was just awesome. Trey, do that again, bro. Like, not even on a rain delay, just like on the way to the park, have one while you're stretching. I think he throws again next Monday. I guess it would be Baltimore. I think either Baltimore. I think we're in Baltimore, but I mean, the guy was. I mean, Lindsay, you've seen him close up. We all watched him during the World Series and the playoffs. The kid from up here, the slider was working. The fastball, they couldn't touch it. It was just beautiful to watch.
I would have loved to see him have 3 energy drinks, like you mentioned. I've been around him a lot. I've interviewed him a bunch over the last several months. The only time I have ever seen him like with some high energy bouncing around is, when they won and kept advancing, and then he was singing "Oh Canada," being drenched in champagne. But other than that, he's pretty calm and cool, collected. You'll see him show a little bit of emotion, but yesterday he showed a bunch of emotion. So I was like, that must have been the energy drinks. And if that's the case, we're all having 6 energy drinks before we do this show. I'm like,
athletes are creatures of habit. He is having 3 energy drinks before his next start. I don't know,
especially baseball players. I think they're the most superstitious.
Oh, so I threw 6 innings of scoreless ball with 8 Ks at Yankee Stadium after having 3 strikeouts. Can we have a 2-hour rain delay every time I'm supposed
Seriously,
to pitch?
man.
I think that's going to be the way Trey Yesavage looks at it.
A moment I loved from the game yesterday was Jimenez worked, the bases loaded, a walk-on at 11 pitch at bat. Great moment. One of my highlights from the game yesterday. It was like,
Dan. Yesterday we argued about the Jays playing Tampa Bay Rays baseball.
Yeah.
The Jays played Tampa Bay Rays baseball last night, Dan. And what was the result,
do you mean?
Dan?
they
Andres Jimenez, 11-pitch friggin' like just fighting off foul balls and with the bases loaded, 7th. Like, bro, that was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And you derided me. You're like, why would they play? They're not built to play Tampa Bay Rays baseball. Why would they play Tampa Rays baseball?
They shouldn't have to play Tampa Bay Rays baseball. There's going to be some nights where you do, right? But like, there's not, for the Jays to be sustainably successful, they need to eventually get more doubles. Thank you, Dalton Varsho, for breaking up the string of singles that the Blue Jays have had at Yankee Stadium over the last couple of nights. But that 7th inning, it was funny. There was a quote from Schlittler after the game, like, that team can BABIP the shit out of you. And it's just like, bro, the 7th inning,
great quote.
You gave up like one base hit in the 7th inning. It was a single, a walk, the bunt from Valenzuela, then another walk, and a sac fly. So, I mean, I don't know, like, you didn't really get BABIP'd to oblivion. It was basically just the Blue Jays finally passing the baton to the next guy and doing what they had to do to get it done. Also, shout out to Valenzuela. He had the bunt attempt the other night that went horribly wrong, and then he looked like he practiced bunts for like 24 hours straight in the lead up to this bunt opportunity.
7th inning, bases loaded, 0 out, and he had a beautiful bunt. So
I like that. He gave us a little dress rehearsal in the 3rd inning. Like, just just sets up in the position. He's like, I was just doing this 13 minutes ago. In fact, during the rain delay, Burr was probably in the batting cage just laying down bunts.
He wasn't hiding it. He wasn't going like full Otis Nixon back in the day. He was he's just like, after the pitch is coming in, he's like, there you go. No, he was just like, he's sitting up there waiting like, yep, this is what I'm doing. Can't
he
stop
walked
me.
from the dugout with his bat out right. He's like, I'm going to be bunting. Did you see Yesavage's quote about striking out Aaron Judge?
Yes.
No.
Like, okay, so he said he's a good player. So he struck out Aaron Judge 3 times. He says he's a good player. I try to strike out everybody. I guess it's an accomplishment to strike him out 3 times, but I try to do that to everybody.
Translation: this is my job. It's a pretty incredible quote from Trey Yesavage.
Yeah, he's a good player. Bro's a 3-time MVP. What do you mean a good player? Like, what? I like that. I like just not giving your opponent like too much respect. And to Lindsay's point earlier, his reaction on that 8th strikeout, like another, like that slider, just like, like I felt that at home watching. I was like, oh, yes, like we got a trade day, and it was beautiful. And listen, it was a 2-1 final. Like, Jays just squeaked it out. Like, so many little bloops. Like, it's Goldschmidt's bloop, it's Chisholm's bloop in the 9th, which helps it. That was a 7th inning. But like, and us in fielding, I know this burns Dan's soul when the Jays commit like simple fielding errors. It's Jimenez, Okamoto, and Panyango like running towards. That was one of the only hits that Trey Yesavage gave up, was the bloop to I think it was Chisholm. He gave up a hit to, and I can't remember who. Those 2 hits, but and there was another one in center field where I think there was Chisholm, that Dalton doesn't run to get and Jimenez tried to acrobatically, snag the ball out of midair. I know
all plays the Jays would make last year, by the way, but just
I suppose
we'll get there. We'll get there. I hope
it is a process, and this season is really trying the patience. I'm sure of the front office. I'm sure of the 26 or 40 guys in that clubhouse, and us as fans watching. It's just like, it's the roller coaster isn't doing this, but it's kind of doing this, and 15 guys have been injured this year. It's nice to just get a friggin' win in the Bronx, and Game 4's tonight or today, I think.
7 o'clock again tonight.
It's tonight with Carlos Rodon and Spencer, not Spencer Miles. Spencer Miles. Braden Fisher, right, is the opener. Spencer Miles doing the bulk of the work. But, oh, man, just what a relief for me. I don't know about for you, Linz, but it's just like, finally, just like, it wasn't pretty, but we got the job. We got a W.
I was so happy they got that W, and I know their bats completely weren't lighting up, but like there was less errors. I love Valenzuela. We all saw, and we spoke about him improving his bunt.
Yes.
There was just moments to be excited for, but the part that to bring it down for a moment.
Oh, no.
Jose Berrios, it was announced, got full Tommy John surgery yesterday. So he's going to be out 12 to 18 months. We weren't sure the extent of like the injury and what the surgery would be. When you heard that that is the surgery he had to get, were you surprised, Dan?
I was definitely surprised a little bit to see that this went from, hey, a stress fracture in the elbow, he should be okay, he'll get back and throwing in a few days, and he'll be fine. We'll get Jose Berrios back at some point this year. No, none of that happened. None of it happened. So I don't know how this all transpired. Even when we first heard about the stress fracture in the elbow, it was like, really, he's going to be able to pitch through that? And now they've just decided, oh, yeah, pitching through the stress fracture caused some damage to the ligament, and so he's just going to need the full Tommy John. And I feel terribly for Jose Berrios, who wanted badly to have a bounce-back season. Don't forget, this is a guy that was the opening day starter for the Blue Jays just a year ago, right? And even though he struggled at times last year, he still ate up a lot of innings for this group. And that's kind of what they're missing right now at the back end of the rotation, as good as the top of the starting rotation feels with Cease, Gossman, and now Trey Yesavage. You know, it's been the back of the rotation that's been an Achilles heel for them to try and really build some wins and put some wins together, string some wins together, string some series wins together. That's been difficult because you don't know what you're getting out of the fifth starter pretty much every time out. So I feel badly for Berrios. He wanted to have the bounce back season, make up for how last season ended and the ugliness of all of that. And he's not going to be able to do that, and it's going to be a long road back for him. So, yeah, definitely. I always feel for a player when they go through something like this.
I'm with you, Dan. I wonder how much he trusts the medical staff, because it's like they're like, yeah, no, your elbow's fine, your elbow's good, and he goes and makes 4 or 5 rehab starts, and it's just, I'm sure he's feeling tingles in his elbows or whatever he's feeling in his pitching elbow, and then all of a sudden this diagnosis, he's like, well, you told me I was fine to pitch. Like, what the bleep?
Yeah.
What happened between this MRI and that MRI? And I evidently the wear and tear, I guess, on his elbow and warm-ups and practices and all that kind of stuff, practice sessions. But I wonder if this, I think, just draws a bigger fracture between Jose Berrios and the club and certainly the medical staff. But I guess we'll see how it plays out. I feel bad for him too, because he's a competitor, and this guy's been a workhorse for the Blue Jays his entire tenure except for this year. So, yeah, that's a tough one. And remember how we were like, I don't know, maybe it was January or February. We're like, yo, Ross Atkins just getting all the pitchers.
Too many pitchers.
We need more pitchers, which is nuts. Because here we are, we picked up Patrick Corbin. We probably got to go get another arm at some point, and I'm sure Atkins and his
Scherzer
staff
is on the way back. We'll see what
yeah,
happens.
he's playing the piano again. But like,
He's picked up the guitar.
Yeah.
We're not getting 2019 or 2008 Scherzer. We're getting 2026 Scherzer. So
need somebody to eat up some innings, and hopefully early to mid-June is kind of what they're looking for right now. But until then, Spencer Miles, step right up.
One thing about Berrios, then I have a Spencer Miles question for you that I really need Cabbie to weigh in on. It's just about Jose Berrios. So I spoke to his former teammate, Whit Merrifield, who happens to co-host a show called 6 Inning Stretch. Make sure to go watch the episode. Just about Jose Berrios, because they were teammates. Like, just what was he like? This is just such a tough break. He says there are players in this league and in every sport that, they don't mind getting like a little injury or something. They get a little bit more time off. They don't have to do and put in as much effort. He's like, it's quite apparent who they are. He's like, Jose is not one of those players. He's never been. He is what Cabbie said, is a workhorse. He's always in the gym. He's always wanting to play. He's always wanting to compete. So he's like, this is devastating for him. And it's just the last year and a half, he says, it's just a tough blow for him. So he's like, now you have the whole mental health part of this all, because you want to be on the mound. You want to be pitching, and you've been working so hard to get back to it. And now you have to get this major surgery where you can't pitch now for over a year. But thankfully, there's other pitchers that have went through this who he can reach out to and speak to. But when we talk about pitchers, back to Spencer Miles, where Cabbie earlier said he's going to be doing the bulk work. Cabbie, Dan has a nickname for Spencer, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, because it could become a whole advertising campaign for him, and we should get a percentage as his new agents.
Spencer Miles is the bulk man for the Blue Jays, and he needs to be an ambassador for Bulk Barn.
Oh, Yeah, I don't hate it. I actually kind of
just going in with a bag, scooping in a bunch of milk chocolate almonds,
salted almonds and cashews, and those like those
Costco,
bootleg
yeah.
Cheetos, like the
bootleg Cheetos.
Yeah,
who's
this
getting
one
the bootleg Cheetos at Bulk Bar?
That have everyone's like hand juice on there.
No.
You have?
Oh yeah, and those like
that's criminal. That's
those
criminal.
rings.
That's
those,
worse
like,
than
corn
any
chip
food
rings.
take I've had.
Cabbie, that's
No.
criminal.
Your food take is arena popcorn is trash. Like that's a bad. That's a bad.
No,
food take.
that's ordering hot dogs from 7-Eleven on Uber Eats.
That
At
is
11
the worst.
You know
Oh,
what?
yeah,
I take
yeah,
it back.
yeah.
Bad call on me because I was gonna say you don't know whose finger like sauce has been all over those like random
True.
low budget
Yeah, and
Cheetos.
you can't
But
really
I don't
think
know who
about it.
touched my hot dog. I don't know, so I don't want to think about that anymore. Let's bring this back in because now I'm gonna feel sick.
Bulk barn. Yeah, I like it. I like the.
I love
yeah.
that nickname. We
Yeah.
should make a nickname. Like Dylan Cease, does he have a nickname? I know I should know this.
I love the artist commercial for his bobblehead thing.
Yeah, me too. I think
that's
those
pretty
those
good.
commercials have been pretty good. Like having Michael Cera, just like the king of awkward, as your lead actor, is like that's a great choice. And I even love his CeraVe ad, and even had to your point about Uber Eats. Like for people who are watching the stream, Lindsay had Uber Eats deliver, was it one hot dog or two hot dogs from 7-Eleven and spent $42 on two hot dogs and a Pepsi or something like that. What was the order again? It was like last week.
It was at night, and it was 11 p.m. when they got delivered at 11:02. It was 2 hot dogs, so they've been on that roller all day long, plus 3 full-size bags of chips, which includes Doritos, a Miss Vicky's, jalapeno, and then I believe it was like Ruffles regular.
So disappointing.
It's incredible that your body works based on the fuel that you give it. It's incredible.
I can honestly say I've never had a gas station
While
or
I drink
convenience
Coca-Cola
store
at
hot
10 a.m.
dog.
Wait,
Same, bro.
Whoa.
Same.
Guys.
Never in my
Neither
life.
have I.
No.
Neither have I.
Okay, guys.
Proudly.
Never.
We say that
We
proudly.
are no. We are having a group
Doesn't
trip
matter.
when Cabbie is
2
back
in the
here.
morning after the bar. Never have I gone
Oh my god!
down
After
the
the bar,
road.
glizzies are the best glizzies, especially
Yeah, from a street vendor.
Yeah,
From
from the
a
street
gas
guy.
Street vendor.
station.
Yes.
No, you hit the guy on King Street outside of the King in Portland there. You
Walking out
grab
of
a-
lot 332,
You know what?
stumbling around.
Yeah.
But there's also
you
a
go to
burger
Circle-
place there.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
Cir-
true. But Circle K, if it's after a couple nights out, you're already spending $75,000 on drinks. You get a pop, hot dog, and a bag of chips for $5. Let me tell you, friend, I'll be treating you next time you're in Toronto to a delicious glizzy from Circle K. Not a sponsor, but should be.
No
'cause
bueno.
damn, they're good.
No bueno.
We're all
that
gonna
is
be sick
criminal.
the next day.
Salute to Spencer Miles and his bulk barn workload today.
Yes.
His last appearance in Detroit. And actually, please comment in the fire off some takes in the comments because
let's go
Lindsay's food choices are highly questionable. And again, I believe Lindsay is a minor miracle to science because of the food that she consumes every once in a while, sometimes starting her day with Cheetos, which I'm not sure that's recommended by any nutritionist or medical doctor. Spencer Miles, nice outing against Detroit in his last appearance. 3 2/3, 56 pitches. And I can't remember how many earned runs, but I think we got the win there against Detroit. So a much
been found
taller
money for the
task
Jays.
in the Bronx tonight.
Ross Atkins may not be able to find bats to help the Blue Jays lineup, but this guy is just plucking pitchers out of everywhere. Like Spencer Miles in the Rule 5 draft. This guy,
Yes.
I was reading that the most innings he's ever pitched in a season was in college, and he had like 68 or 69 innings pitched. So if he does end up becoming a starter, if that's what they're building him up towards here for the Jays, I don't know if there's going to be some kind of an innings limit on him, but whatever, man. Like, you found this guy in the Rule 5 draft. You see where this takes you, especially with the need for pitchers and the need for innings that the Jays have right now. And, even thinking about Louis Varland, like, what a trade that was last year. And Louis Varland was on, if you looked at the insiders and all this stuff, like, he was not on anybody's radar necessarily for the Jays as a target. Then he just shows up here, eats all kinds of innings through the postseason, setting records, and now he's the best reliever in baseball. Maybe not by the underlying metrics, but the guy's got an ERA under 1. Only him and Shohei Ohtani have an ERA under 1 right now. So this is, the Blue Jays, for their lack of ability to find bats, they've been able to find arms in a lot of strange places.
A quick note on Spencer Miles. In his last appearance in Detroit, we did win 2-1 in 10 innings, 3 2/3, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 5 Ks. So Spencer Miles, man, what a great outing last time. We hope you can replicate that in the Bronx tonight.
In the chat, we asked, do you think the Jays are back? And 64%, now it's 60%, say not quite. 13% say, nah, they're cooked. And 27% say, so back. I'm part of the 27% that I never really was gone. But make sure to follow along on Off the Roster on YouTube.
I do love that Zach put in, nah, they're cooked as an answer.
Nah,
it's great.
They're cooked.
It's pretty great. Spin zone on this, though.
Spin zone. Doodle-doo.
There's still a chance that they do lose this 4-game series to the New York Yankees.
Come on.
But they could have, maybe even should have, won all 3 games of this series to this point. Maybe I'm grasping here.
Wait, how was that a spin
they're all
zone?
one-run games.
Because that's positive. They should have beaten.
Didn't.
The Yankees are one of the best teams in baseball.
Okay, I'll take that.
The Jays are going toe-to-toe with them. This feels like a series, and maybe I'm just, wishing upon hope that this could be the series that kicks the Jays into gear and gets them playing cleaner, better baseball from here on out. But it feels like they are finding something. They have scored more runs in games 1 and 2. They put up a good amount of runs here against one of the better pitching teams in baseball. And then yesterday, they were able to out-duel the Yankees. So I'm feeling like there's a lot of good things happening for the Jays in this series, and I hope that they can carry it on moving forward. That's my spin zone on the Jays in this Yankees
is that
series.
They could have won the other games. Thanks so much for reminding me they didn't win the other games, Dan.
One-run games. They were like 7-6, 5-4,
the ninth.
Yeah.
Let's not remind ourselves of the context of how they ended up losing those games.
No, but we can remind ourselves that Brad Treliving was fired from the Toronto Maple Leafs at the end of the season. He's already been replaced, and yesterday he spoke for the first time just kind of about the Leafs, what has happened since that moment. He was on overdrive, and he was asked about the difference between the Leafs last season and this season. Weigh in on the chat what you think of his answers.
You talked about the last couple years. What do you think the biggest difference was from taking Florida to Game 7? It was obviously Game 5. Game 7 was disappointing, but it looked like you guys were kind of, you found something, and maybe if you stuck to it, it can continue. And then the next season started, and it just wasn't there. How do you kind of view that, and what do you think happened from the end of the playoffs until the start of the next season?
Yeah, listen, I've had a little time to reflect, and I'm going to do more of it. And, when you're the manager, you take responsibility for it. So the responsibility is mine. But I always say management, coaching, players, we all...
You talked about the last couple years.
And we the beginning of the year, the goaltenders we had lost the goaltenders. But everybody goes through injuries. To me, those was an excuse. There was a fall off there. Whether, we didn't have the buy-in. You can debate how we played a little bit. The biggest challenge for me was and I talked a little bit about it in November, is even the games we won on the scoreboard, we weren't winning. Whether it be shot share, controlling play, driving play.
Didn't have the buy-in.
Didn't have the buy-in. That's the money shot right there. It's like we did not have the buy-in, and I think Craig Berube alluded to this as well. Yeah, you didn't have buy-in, and you didn't put together a good enough team as well, Brad. So that's where the 30% of the pie, as Johnny talks about in the chat. But this team just never felt like they believed in themselves, in what they were doing, in their plan, and you could see it in the way they played each and every night, how they got beat to pucks, they lost all their battles, they didn't get in hard on the forecheck. Buy-in is huge because, sure, your systems can be down and great and all that stuff, but you know what? Especially in the NHL right now, with how much parity there is in the league, the teams that execute their game plan the best tend to come out on top more often than not. Maybe it doesn't make you a Stanley Cup contender, but it can still get you to the playoffs, as we've seen with a lot of teams. Look what happened with Philly. Look what happened with Pittsburgh all season long. Like, those weren't great hockey teams, but they executed their game plan well enough on a night-to-night basis that they booked their ticket to the playoffs. And the Leafs, talent is an issue moving forward for this team, but it shouldn't have been so big of an issue that they couldn't have got back to the playoffs this year. So yeah, Brad Treliving, very right. They lost their buy-in on top of a diminished roster.
And he's talking about specifically like the buy-in, excuse me, from the players to not buy into Craig Berube's structure and his system, correct? If I'm hearing that right?
That's what we're alluding to, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it felt kind of obvious. I mean, towards the end of the season, I wouldn't say like October, November, December that really jumped out at me. It just felt like the team was struggling. But hearing him say that, and he said, he's going to keep reflecting. That's like you see it happening in real time. I don't. Has there ever been, Dan, like a
maybe
coach
making a trade when it was happening maybe might have helped.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Well,
he sat on his hands all season just being like, yeah, I'm just going to watch this burning train go down. There was so many issues, right? And it even goes back to the Atlantic Division winning year. I mean, hey, you still, you won the Atlantic. Nobody can ever take that away from them. But all of the underlying metrics, the analytics, the data that Keith Pelly was alluding to was suggesting the Leafs outperformed their metrics, right? They relied on Joseph Woll and Anthony Stolarz to win them a ton of games. They got outshot a ton in that first year with Craig Berube, but they overcame some of those obstacles because of their great goaltending and because of the elite talent at the top of the lineup scoring goals, that they were able to overcome some of those factors. But you can only keep that up for so long. And when it started to get away from them this year, they didn't know how to get it back on track.
Is there a precedent where a head coach like changes his structure like something dramatic midway through a season? I can't think of one, and I don't know
because
the
players,
answer to this question.
When I've talked to players about this, like why don't coaches try to change things up? It almost has the wrong effect in a way. Jay Woodcroft is maybe the best example I can give in Edmonton, where that first season with Edmonton he was great and things were going beautifully for them, and then the next season they got spanked like 9-1 or something by the Canucks in game 1 of the season, and it just continued onwards. And what they were trying to do is change some of their defensive zone structures, and so you can make that tweak in training camp and be like, I think this is going to make us better. And so they tried to do some of those things. It wasn't sticking. And when Jay Woodcroft was like, we got to pull the chute on this and go back to what we used to do, then you lose buy-in from players because you don't have the courage of your convictions to move forward as a coach and continue to implement those changes. Maybe it sounds dumb, but this is the way that it's worked in the NHL. Like players, if you're changing your structures, if you're changing your ideas, your game plans drastically on a night-to-night basis, players don't trust what you're doing, and they lose buy-in from that because they don't feel like they're being led in the right direction. And so that's why coaches, they try to stick to their systems. Maybe they'll make tweaks, but they don't make drastic changes in season because it almost never works, and it has the opposite effect for players.
And to that point, and Dan, you brought up the trades, and he sat on his hands. The easiest thing he could have done, and maybe it's a cop-out, but the easiest thing he could have done was fire the coach. And that was the one thing that they refused to do. You talk about buy-in. There's probably a lot of areas that these guys didn't buy in, and that's probably why they struggled for 9 goddamn years and not just missed the playoffs the one time, is because there was a lack of buy-in all the way through, but there was very clearly a disconnect. Why not fire the guy? You talk about that year where Jay Woodcroft, things went sideways for him in Edmonton. What was the solution?
Fire him.
Firing Jay Woodcroft.
Bring in Chris Knoblauch.
And what did they do? Went to the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah. And then again, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. It is a little bit of a cop-out, and it's the easy way to do things where you have to look at the players internally, and I get that. There's a bigger picture conversation to be had here, but
Can't fire the players, right?
yeah, you can't fire the players. You can't change everybody. The easiest thing you could have done was fire Craig. You refused to do that. There was just a refusal all the way through to make changes from, I don't know if it's Pelly, if it's Tree Living, or whoever, but there was a lot of stubbornness that was taking place here too.
Zach, stay here for a second because I want to bring up a comment in the chat, which I know there's a little bit of sarcasm to this, from German Fine Cars, who says, who would have thought all we needed to do was hire Torts and we would have had the caliber of a Conn Smythe player? Golden Knights winning yesterday against the Avalanche. What did you make of Mitchie's performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the one thing we're learning here is that Mitch is a secondary player, which I know is going to sound crazy when you look at what he's doing right now, but what I mean by that is he's not a guy for the spotlight. He's the guy who's the third, fourth best player on a team, and that's what he is in Vegas, and that's what allows him to shine, because everyone looks out there and realizes that they've got Noah Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson and Jack Eichel and Mark Stone, who obviously is injured right now, but mix those guys in, and Dorofeyev and Shea Theodore, right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I've got to worry about that guy and that guy and that guy and that guy. And then Mitch is able to find the cracks with a guy like William Karlsson playing alongside of him, where he's not the guy and he's not getting the toughest matchups. I'm sure if he played second line here in Toronto and second power play here in Toronto in the playoffs, he would have done a lot better. But that's not the case, because he wanted to be the number one guy, whether that's a prospect of him or his camp, who I'm not afraid to say, because his dad was publicly quoted when in big articles like, The Athletic, I don't know if people have ever heard of that, saying, why wouldn't Mitch be the captain? He's the best player on this team. Why wouldn't Mitch be the highest paid player? He's the best player on this team. When that kind of pressure gets put on you, then you have to be the number one guy, and he just isn't. And I think that's ultimately one of the things that we're learning here, is that he's not the spotlight guy. He's a guy who needs to be the third, fourth, fifth best option on the team in order for him to have this success. Because I think if he was the number one guy in Vegas, we wouldn't be seeing this.
Who's better than Mitch Marner on Vegas?
Jack Eichel, immediately. Yeah. Number one, Jack Eichel.
Who
by
else?
Far.
By far is a little. That's a
Jack
stretch.
Eichel is by far better than Mitch Marner. By far.
There's the only player that might be by far better than Mitch Marner wears 97 and plays for the Edmonton Oilers.
The only player?
There was at least two on the ice.
By far?
Yes.
Nathan McKinnon is not by far.
By far.
By far better than Nathan McKinnon,
Yes.
Connor McDavid,
Not
Nikita
by far.
Kucherov.
Yes.
You're listing the best three players in hockey.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean okay, but by far the divide or the gulf between McKinnon and Mitchie is not it's not like
it's by far.
I don't know.
Nathan McKinnon is by far. Nathan McKinnon is more in the conversation of Connor McDavid than he is on the level of Mitch Marner.
Yes. I agree.
He is
by
far better.
I disagree that his talent level and his production is by far better than Mitch Marner. They're both playing in the. Hold on, they're
McKinnon
both playing
had like 110
in the.
points. Marner had 78 this year. This is by far. That's a big gap.
Are they both playing in the NHL playoffs right now?
Yes.
And then go ahead and look it up, Dan or Zach. How many points has Nathan McKinnon registered in the Stanley Cup playoffs? And then how many points has Mitch Marner registered in these Stanley Cup playoffs? And also do last night's box score too, since they played
fewer games played for Nathan McKinnon.
Okay, then do point per game average. Then what is it? 1.08 per game or less than a point per game? Do that. Go ahead. Just share with the
It's
audience.
frustrating seeing that Mitch is and at times has been the best player. Like even last night was the best player on the ice at times for not just the Vegas Golden Knights, but even against the Colorado Avalanche. And the wide conversation as we've had here is the continual rest of the hockey world being like, really like Leaf should have never let Marner go. Like he wasn't doing this. How many more playoff series did you need to see for Mitch in blue and white to say that this was ever going to come out? Whatever it is, mental block. He never played with the same freedom, the same confidence in the playoffs for the Maple Leafs that he has shown so far with the Vegas Golden Knights. Period. End of story. It's like watching a completely different player. Well, it was like watching a completely different player from regular season to playoffs with Mitch Marner when he wore the blue and white versus here in Vegas where that player that got people out of their seats, that got people excited, is showing up in the playoffs and making these eye-popping plays on a night-to-night basis. That player did not exist wearing number 16 in blue and white for the Maple Leafs. He didn't exist. That's it.
Can you guys tell me about the points now? Did anybody look it up? McKinnon's points and Mitchie's points.
But where was this for 9 years, Cabbie? Like, where was this? What was he doing?
I don't have an
He was
explanation
scared of the
for it.
puck. He was scared of going on the ice for 9 years.
He had one power play goal in the entirety of his Maple Leafs playoff career.
He played 70 playoff games in Toronto.
Why are we crushing
Mitchie?
Mitchie? The guy they just won 4-2 last night. Why are we He had an unbelievable pass to Pavel Skorofiev, and I think he assisted on Brett Howden's shorthanded goal was all basically him and Nick Dowd. But why are we crushing Mitchie today?
It's just frustrating having the
You guys are
conversation of
scorned
like,
lovers. You guys
I
are
can't
scorned
believe-
ex-girlfriends.
It's just so frustrating
Just
having
look
the
at it.
conversation of like, oh, how could they let this guy go? Like, he
Yeah.
didn't do this every year, and people were still like, I don't like you.
He didn't do it any year in
He didn't
Toronto.
do it ever. He didn't even come close. Like, he didn't look like this guy ever in his time in Toronto in the playoffs. Not even close.
Team
Cabbie
sport.
also, yeah.
The only series you
But
could
it's still,
say
even him, he didn't look like
his
this. I get
first
the team
ever
around
playoff
him.
series, his first ever playoff series with the Leafs against the Bruins. I think he had 9 points in that 7-game series. Obviously, much like the rest of his games 5, 6, and 7 career in Toronto, he kind of went quiet in the latter half of that series. But that was one, like, for a first playoff series, you were like, okay, like. That we can kind of see where this could go, but after that, it was just never the same. And again, I don't know why. Did the outside noise get to him? Like that
13-year-old kid on the street really shook him up.
I mean, there's no explanation, but there's no denying that the player Mitch Marner can be and has been in the playoffs for Vegas never existed for the Maple Leafs in Toronto in the playoffs.
I'll just say this. I love that Mitch Marner is reminding folks like you miss him now. You miss him. You guys ran him out of town, and now you miss Mitch Marner, his high IQ, his elite
Nobody ran him out of
skills.
town. He chose to leave.
He also
You guys ran him out of town, bro. Lindsay can
He also
back me
isn't
up.
like a-
the
he's
media
not like a
ran this
girlfriend.
every day. Everybody's complaining about every day. Who wants to go to work and listen to people just
He's
tell
not
you
even
how
here, and we're complaining about him still.
This guy,
so.
it's not like a
Exactly.
girlfriend that left and we're like, oh wow, I missed that girlfriend. Like he left and he got a boob job and his face done. Like it's a different girl. And
He's
we're
got a
like,
nice
wow.
stuff going on.
What
What happened over there?
He went to a different city. It's a different vitamin D. He's working out again. My guy's getting miles in he's rollerblading or in Summerlin. Just living, breathing different air. Just like this is the glow up that Mitch Marner needed, and he's reminding everybody that he's a top 5 player in the world. Yes, I said
Well, he gets
it. And I'll
paid to
stand
be a
by it.
top 5 player in the league. Like
And
when
that's
you
what he
hold
is,
out
bro.
and you hold out
That's
for
what
the
he
biggest
is.
contract possible with the Maple Leafs, and then don't show up in the playoffs, you can't also then complain that people are expecting more out of you. Like that's life as a professional athlete, whether it's the NHL, the NBA, the NFL. If you don't perform as one of the highest paid players in the league, you are going to hear about it from your fan base. And if you can't live with that, what do you want from me? Okay, go live in Vegas where you can walk to the rink in flip-flops and maybe 7 people will ask you for an autograph in the entirety of your career. If that's the life you want to live, cool. But you could have had the greatest of all legacies here in Toronto, brought a cup back to the Maple Leafs for the first time in the post-expansion era, and you turtled. That's the way I see it.
Conn Smythe Award is in his future. Stanley
he
Cup,
wins
and
it,
when he's hoisting the Stanley
Is it
Cup.
going to be downtown Toronto? Is he
No,
going
you'll
to bring it to
probably-
downtown Toronto?
I think it'll be up at his compound in Muskoka, maybe in London, Ontario. Might get a
private
little bit of
ceremony.
Probably in his
Yeah.
house in Henderson somewhere.
Okay. Well, I'll take it to the actual game that happened yesterday. I love this conversation.
I
think we're going to
remember
be
when
having.
Phil Kessel brought his cup party to Toronto? That was pretty great, too.
And had hot dogs out of the cup.
Had hot dogs out of the cup.
Man, did he go to Circle K or did he get street meat? So many questions.
Petty
as
King,
you go down.
love it.
Oh yeah, I love a Petty King. When it comes to this series, I know Colorado Avalanche, they had 9 games off. Tonight, going into Montreal and the Carolina series, they had 12 games off. And McKinnon yesterday after the game was just saying, like, their lack of execution. They were a little bit rusty, all that other stuff. So I know that's a narrative going into tonight's game. Do you think Carolina fans should be concerned at all the fact that their team has had 12 days off?
They could be rusty. I mean, we'll see tonight. They are a well-oiled machine. Rod Brindamore has them playing pretty much the same way every time. But probably the thing to look at the most is Freddie Anderson, a guy who's been unbelievable in these playoffs, another former Maple Leaf. He's been unbelievable in these playoffs for Carolina, but that's the thing that has hurt Carolina in the past, is their goalies not making enough saves in the postseason. Is Freddie Anderson going to be a little bit rusty with all this time off? And when you've got big-time scorers on the other side, like the Montreal Canadiens do, that would be somewhere where this series could get tipped in Montreal's favor, because seems like everybody, and I think everybody's underrating the Habs a little bit, is saying that Carolina's just going to walk to the Stanley Cup final, and I don't think that's true.
I anticipate a bit of rust. We said actually yesterday in the game, the Golden Knights were kind of slow. It felt kind of slow in the first period, even though they didn't have as much time off as Colorado, and then things just kind of they ramped up. But if this is the game for Montreal to land the first punch and steal one in Raleigh, is game one, because I think we've seen that they're battle tested. They've played 14 games already, and Carolina's only played 8. But they've got some momentum. They got a ton of confidence, and I expect Montreal to make this really competitive. I think Montreal wins tonight. I'm going to sprinkle in. That's not my pro line pick of the day, but I'm going to sprinkle on a road dog victory tonight on the straight up money line. Is my feeling on this one.
I will say Montreal does. They are going to need more out of their top line. They haven't done much at 5-on-5.
That's true.
Slavkovsky, Suzuki, and Caulfield. I know Caulfield's finally. The goals were coming a little bit more in round 2, but at 5-on-5, they haven't produced offensively. So it's come mostly on the power play. And one concern I would have for the Habs in that note is, we know what happens in the Stanley Cup playoffs. As the playoffs go on, the whistles go further and further away. So from the referees. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that. And really, like, the Habs builds, because we like to make it about the Leafs here.
Of course we do.
The Habs build in general, and I've talked about it. They rebuilt better than the Leafs did 10 years ago, but it's incredible where they were 5 years ago to now. Stanley Cup playoffs or Stanley Cup final in the bubble, I guess 6 years ago in the Edmonton bubble. And here they are in the Final Four, youngest team to make it to the Final Four since the 93 Habs. And I think the misnomer that a lot of people are thinking about with the Habs is that they did this entirely through the draft. They've built this core mostly through the draft. Slavkovsky, Hudson, Demidov were all high draft choices. Hudson was a second rounder, but they kind of joined the previous regime's draft choices in Suzuki and Caulfield to bridge the gap and create this larger core. And on top of that, they've traded a bunch, like getting guys like Dobson, Doc, Newhook. If you're thinking about how the Leafs can rebuild quickly or how they can get back to being a Stanley Cup contender and how they do that, well, it's not strictly through the draft. You've got to make pretty aggressive trades, dangerous trades, the Newhook for 2 high picks, trading Romanoff and getting the 13th overall pick or whatever it was, and then trading for Kirby Dach, that was a risky play, and it hasn't always looked like it was going to work. Like, these are moves that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton made to get this team to where it is now, that they don't just have a core 4 or 5 players. They are a much deeper roster than that. And I don't know if it's realistic for the Leafs to do that in short order. They don't have the draft capital to be going out and making those kinds of trades. And as long as Matthews is here, you're probably looking at a shorter term kind of retool. But ultimately, that's what the Habs did well, not just on the draft side, but making some pretty aggressive, maybe, white knuckle trades where it's like, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to do it anyways, that have put this team in a great spot, not just for now, but for the next 5 years as well.
Helen messaging me saying, back to the Mitch talk, good players are hated, so that's why everyone hates Mitch. But maybe Matthews should get a boob job and facelift to be a better player, to bring it back to Zach. That is an elite comment, but to bring it to Matthews, Eric, yeah, right? It's amazing. But like the visuals of that, also something.
I don't need those visuals.
Yeah, you started this combo.
Nobody wants
Forget I ever said that.
Yeah. Eric Johnson saying that McDavid or Matthews will be on the Minnesota Wild within the next 3 years. Cabbie, when you hear that, what are your thoughts?
It's a spicy take.
It is a bit of a spice.
Great organization, great hockey market. Boy,
Can't see McDavid or Matthews there.
No.
I mean, maybe for the hockey sense, like giving them
McDavid in Dallas,
the best chance to. I mean, that's pretty spicy. McDavid in Dallas. We kind of feel like Austin wants to play on the West Coast of the United States, and
Austin seems like he wants to play in a big market.
Yeah,
if it's not Toronto, like LA, New York.
Yeah,
he wants to be in the spotlight of a big market.
So
I could see this happening for them, but it would be under one circumstance, and it would be a trade to the end of the contract.
Yeah.
Look at what they have right now. Look around, realize Quinn Hughes, Kaprizov are there. Good teams.
Yeah.
McDavid's got 2 years left, including next season. Matthews has 2 years left as well, so they'll line up at the same time. And then you just say, hey, you know what? We'll give this a go. If it doesn't work, that's it. But I don't see two things. One, them willingly signing there as free agents, or two, them re-signing there if they did go there and get traded there. I don't think that would be the case. That's no slight at Minnesota. It's more so what I think those guys are looking for.
The Wild, I mean, they made the trade for Quinn Hughes, right? And that has opened up a lot of possibilities for them because they look like a team ready to win now. And if McDavid or Matthews are looking to chase a cup, that could be a team where it looks like the final piece to their puzzle is just getting that true number one center. I think it's more, obviously the conversation around Matthews is that his future is up in the air. He wants to see where the Leafs are going and if he feels he can win here moving forward for him to re-sign. And if at any point he feels like that's not going to happen and he does a similar move to Quinn Hughes and tries to force his way out of Toronto towards a contender, maybe in that scenario, I know for sure Bill Guerin, GM of the Wild, is going to put all of his chips into the table and be like, this is what I'm willing to give for Austin Matthews. He will throw the kitchen sink at it to try and make it work. But it all starts with them getting Quinn Hughes to re-sign, I think. And he says he's open to it for 3 years, or that's what the speculation is, maybe a 3-year deal to keep him there. If they do that, then whether it's McDavid or Matthews, Minnesota is definitely going to be a team to watch because they know they have this short window right now to try and maximize their cup-winning opportunity. And if an Austin Matthews becomes available, you better believe Bill Guerin will do everything he can to make it happen. I just don't know if the organization has enough to make the Leafs happy anymore after all they gave up for Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, that's the problem with Minnesota. They probably need guys that they have that are playing. Like, and it wouldn't be this guy specifically, but the idea of like Brock Faber. Mm-hmm. That's great for Toronto, but then Minnesota's like, oh, damn, we need a right shot defenseman.
No doubt, yeah. Man, Kaprizov, Boldy, Matthews, and or McDavid? Jeez Louise. That's a scary hours immediately. And Quinn Hughes, Jeez.
I think, scary hours could happen with the Toronto Raptors next season. CMB, I know we spoke about him all season long. He was named to the all-rookie second team. You were flying that flag for CMB. Round of applause. Round of applause for the big fella.
Should have been first team.
Steve Ashburner or whatever your name was doing the rookie top tens.
If he wasn't injured, I think he would have got first. But Dan, you've been flying the flag for CMB all season long. getting the recognition. Yes, he should have been first. How are you feeling about this?
I feel pretty good. This is, aside from how good Scotty was in the playoffs, how good CMB was as a rookie in that opening round series for the Raptors, very, very impressive. It's always nice to see, a Toronto player having success in the playoffs because we haven't had enough of it, certainly for the Maple Leafs. But it is nice to see, and it gives you hope to where the Raptors could go in the future. CMB at 9th overall looks like an absolute win for the Raptors.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dan, and we all enjoyed watching him mature and grow and provide like productive minutes and boards, rebounds, just like productive play under Coach Rajakovic. And it is a shame that he did bleep up his left thumb, and he's a lefty. Like I want to say it was January, I think he jammed his thumb, and that deprived us and him of having a full 82-game season, because what else would have stopped this kid? But he's got a bright young future. Hopefully he can remain a Toronto Raptor and he's not dangled in some fantasy trade that fans want for Giannis or whoever, some big time player, as Toronto looks to level up, because hey, we're here, first round of the playoffs, took Cleveland to 7 games. How do we get better? And if it's to acquire a big-time player, Colin Murray-Boyles might have to be a part of that trade.
Thankfully, they have him under contract, but exactly what you're saying is he could be dangled in one of those trade options. So going into the offseason, we spoke about who's unrestricted and free agents, but a reminder, Sandro Mamukelashvili has a player option. He's going to go get his bag somewhere else, most likely.
He should.
Jonathan Mobo, club option, as well as Jamal Shed. And then we see Chucky Hepburn, Elijah Martin. And they are all restricted free agents. The 2 unrestricted free agents, Garrett Temple and Ontario's own AJ Lawson. And I recently asked him.
He's an unrestricted free agent?
He is. And honestly, I don't understand anything about the bird thing, whatever happens in the NBA when it comes to that and the salary cap. But I asked him, he's going into the summer as an unrestricted free agent after having an amazing season with Raptors 905 and the Raptors. First time in 4 years, both teams made it to the playoffs. He had significant minutes. Here's what he had to say about the uncertainty.
I'm just hopeful for opportunity. I feel like my body of work this season and just my efforts and just my talents alone just hopefully gets me an NBA job next year. Praying for the best. I'm going to work my tail off this whole summer, and I'll be ready for opportunity when it comes.
What would you feel if he's not on the team next year? And I understand there are players like this throughout the league, and it's part of the story of him being from here, playing alongside his childhood friend of RJ Barrett in the playoffs. How important do you think it is that they bring him back? Because I don't think it will be a big bag.
It's not a make or break the offseason kind of a thing, but it feels like a hometown guy who's done nothing but continued to improve his game. Showed up
Reliable.
When nobody expected him to play minutes in the playoffs. He showed up for Darko and that squad and gave them some solid minutes towards the end of that series against the Cavs. He's definitely a guy I would look to bring back if he's, maybe got opportunities elsewhere with maybe bigger minutes or things like that. That's a player decision to make that he's going to have to make himself. But for the Raptors, I see AJ Lawson is still having value to this roster.
I agree. He does provide some value, and it was nice to see his career develop over, a couple of years in Toronto. We know that he played, I believe, in Dallas before.
Yes.
He's a quality role player, and, he's only 25, so he's a guy that wants to play here, which is great, and wants to get better. Obviously, there are a bunch of moves to make, and Bobby Webster has to figure out what he has bigger questions to answer. With Brendan Ingram and Emmanuel Quickley and Jakob Poeltl, those huge salaries up top of the organization. But AJ Lawson, if he returned to Toronto, I think he would be welcomed with open arms, and he'd have a great place to develop as a young basketball player. Nice work getting that clip, Lindsay. I haven't heard from AJ in a bit, but that was nice job.
But Thank you. You can watch the full interview on Hoops There It Is show on YouTube.
Excellent.
After. Yeah, he talks about his friendship with Sandro Mamukelashvili because they were in the same draft class. And like, I had no idea how deep their friendship was. But when we talk about a Canadian hooper, SGA yesterday putting up 30.
Oh my goodness.
And so they tied the series against the Spurs, where I just love like the Thunder going into this game. I think, some fans or people around the league and fans would be like, oh my gosh, they dropped the game to like Wemby. Wemby is this crazy unicorn. There's no way the Thunder are going to be able to beat them. For me, they didn't look stressed or panicked during this game or even post-game, but they did change how they defended Wemby. And SGA was asked about this after the game, and this moment went viral.
You all made a pivot defensively, hard on Wemby. What kind of impact did Isaiah have tonight?
I'm not sure if it was good, to be honest. Yeah.
Break that down for me.
Say again?
Break that down for me. Why was his impact not good?
It was all right. It was good. It was good. We wanted to switch it up, give him different looks. That's what it's about. When you play against good players, you got to switch it up. Make sure the rhythm's not the same, and we did that tonight.
Appreciate the honesty. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I love.
Yes.
Go ahead, Lynn. Sorry.
No, I'll let you, because he did clarify after, I guess, saying that he didn't actually hear what she said. So he didn't mean to burn his teammate that bad.
I don't know.
I know what you're going to say. I'm with you. I'm with you on
feels
this.
like
he was walking it back. He was walking it back.
That initial response was great. Like, that's pure honesty. And I wonder if just moments before, Wemby had a play on the baseline, spins off Hardenstein, and just gets the hoop. So I wonder if like that was like the last defensive possession that SGA saw remembers of Hardenstein, and that's why he reacted that way. And then he looked up at the box score. He's like, oh, okay, 10 points, 13 rebounds for Hardenstein. And then, Wemby, 21 points, 17 rebounds. What is it? 4 blocks, 6 assists. So like maybe he didn't defend him quite that well, but he was right. They did They did defend Victor Wembanyama with different looks, but I love that SGA was that honest in the moment because the kid wasn't a 40 and 20 game, but he was still very effective despite Dylan Harper going down and Steph Castle having a pretty good game. But I like that honesty from SGA, absolutely.
The one thing about this game, though, I think we're seeing a villain emerge in this series of the two, up and coming teams. Well, not up and coming because OKC are defending champs, but
they're already there.
There's been a lot of video clips just following around on Twitter, and like SGA is being called the flopper of all floppers in NBA history. He's flopping on every jump shot. And they're doing like huge highlight reels or low light reels of SGA just flopping all over the floor.
It's the foul merchant. That's the nickname that he's he's taking a page out of like James Harden's book. But yeah, this is not a good look for someone as talented. Yeah, some of these are really.
Some of them are pretty bad.
It's not that bad. Dan, as someone who watches soccer and football, all those guys are the most dramatic people out there. No, Zach, roll the tape if you're able to grab some of the examples I put. It is not the same. In no way is it the same. If you touch one of the players, like look at this. He got touched by the ref. Watch this. He's like, oh my God, wait, push. Oh my God, you broke my back. Somebody help me.
I hate this so much.
The ref is all time.
Who's getting the call? So don't you dare even say it. It is not the same thing. If the wind were to blow in their direction.
It's the same as a wide receiver flopping for PI.
Watch this. Oh my God. They touched
Michael
me.
Bradley? This is an old clip.
It is, but I'm just saying, like, this is... Yeah. The pain, they touched me. They broke my arms and dislocated one of my ribs. It's not the same, bro.
It's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is like SGA isn't writhing in pain, fake pain on the ground after he flops for the foul. Like,
it is pretty close.
In both instances, the player is just trying to get an advantage for your team. And hey, I am all about winning, so do whatever you got to do to get that advantage for your team. But SGA, you are right now the best player in the NBA.
Do what you want.
You're the MVP. You've won multiple MVPs now. You were the finals MVP last year. Like, you don't need to do this. You don't need to resort to this. And it just feels like after, hey, he's had this reputation the whole time a little bit. Like, it's been a growing reputation for SGA. But coming off that game one, it's almost like, well, we need to do this in order to beat Wembanyama. And that's where it gets interesting.
Well, it just seemed like he was back to his normal self. Like a 30.9 assist kind of night is like that's when he shows up to work, and that's what he's gonna give you. Yeah. No, not the flopping. You know who's like the king of flopping, and he just got named to the Brazilian national team is Neymar. That dude,
he's got some bad ones.
You can add sound effects of a sniper and just add them to every time he tries to embellish a call, because they do it for a purpose, is to try to get the referee to like just to acknowledge how they're being played or watch closer to how they're being played. It's obnoxious for us as the viewing public to watch these guys. The women's game is like so much cleaner because it's so technical, and they never flop. They just play a clean game. But the men, it's just like all the theatrics,
pull hair and elbow.
Like Dan,
and stuff.
if you were a soccer player and then you just pass out and be like, "Oh my god!"
The old Rivaldo one where he got hit with the ball at the corner flag.
Just a bozo.
Pretended it got hit in the face.
That makes me so excited for the World Cup.
You know what? It happens less now because video assistant refereeing can take away that red card if it's given.
It's still egregious and ridiculous
for a brutal flop.
Do you guys remember the Italian soccer training video in like 2007? This used to be like my favorite video. I just found it on YouTube here. It's like it's a parody of the Italian soccer where they've got like a spy cam in a forest.
This is great.
They all like run and then hit the deck.
Man, the Azzurri have never been this team.
I mean, come on. Didn't Zinedine Zidane got a red card because he headbutted?
He actually headbutted Materazzi,
but like still. Like, it wasn't a headbutt to the face; it was to the chest.
It's a sternum, it hurts. Knock you
but
out.
Anyway, hey,
did you see Jesus Sanchez? He dove headlong for that ball.
Sanchez was a little embarrassed that he didn't make that catch, so he had to. Sanchez was a little embarrassed that he didn't make that catch, so he had to like embellish the injury a little bit and just take an extra 30 seconds. Like, man, I should have had that. But thankfully, it didn't lead to more runs.
Yeah, we'll go to the billionaire things in a moment because while we have both of you, let's go to the ProLine pick of the day because the new ProLine app is here. Bet baseball online and in store. This ain't the old ProLine. The new app makes betting baseball easier than ever. Enjoy more props and same game parlays all baseball season long on the new ProLine app.
All right, tonight we are looking at the Blue Jays. I said it earlier, spin zone, things are starting to trend in a better way. Saw Vladdy get the big sac fly late last night to get that extra run on the board, which proved to be very important for the Blue Jays. Vladdy over 1.5 total bases. It still hasn't always been great for Vlad, but I think the game is coming around for him a little bit. So Vladdy over 1.5 total bases is my play for Vladdy at Yankee Stadium tonight.
We are aligned. We are both locking in the same play, Dan.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. is batting lifetime .588 against Carlos Rodon. He's got 3 doubles, a homer, and 5 RBI. He's maybe he's the sac fly merchant right now for the Toronto Blue Jays because that's the production that he's giving us, along with the singles, as you call him, Vladimir Singles Jr.
But single yesterday was also a grounder. Yes, Vladdy Grounder Jr.
Hey, we'll take him, man. We'll take him. As long as, listen, get runners on base, put pressure on the defense and the pitchers and have them. I like how Sanchez at third base was kind of dancing around trying to distract Schitler, just like a 9-year-old. But anyway, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. over 1.5 total bases is also my ProLine pick of the day. And these picks are for entertainment purposes only, folks.
Let's go.
Let's get it, Dan.
Let's go. Also, Aaron Boone. I wondered yesterday when I saw him, yapping, and then he was ejected the game before. What do you think he does in his spare time? Like, is he doing puzzles? Is he painting? Is he on a boat?
Not having 3
How does he stay calm?
Energy drinks.
Well, just in general, what does he do away from the game? He's an interesting character.
Isn't he doing podcasts and stuff a lot now?
So Yeah, away
Yeah?
from that also.
Really?
So it was like, I'm like, I feel like he plays Scrabble.
Well, he was in the broadcast booth for a while, so a lot of podcasts. You know, he's probably
And he
watches
was
a lot of
also on
baseball.
MLB Network, or either at ESPN or MLB Network with alongside our good friend Adnan Virk. But what is he?
Yeah.
That's a great.
Like
doesn't the New York
croquet?
Times have the?
I'd like to think that he watches, he rewatches the ALDS to see how badly the Blue Jays beat his Yankees.
Watches Vlad's.
Yeah, just watches Vlad go Super Saiyan on him.
Now we're just telling him what to do, and I love this, guys. I love where this conversation has went. But Cabbie, I was bringing up how David Beckham is now a billionaire. Don't know how
Is
much
he?
of the dough is from
Yeah.
Victoria Beckham and her Spice Girl fame and her empire that she has built, because she's got some coin too.
Yes.
But
does.
Dan was saying there were 7 other athletes.
So there are
that
7 total now. So Beckham
Yeah.
is one of 7
that are worth over $1 billion.
total
Yeah.
living pro
Billion.
athletes
Wow.
that are worth over $1 billion. I think you can get 5 of the 6 remaining. I don't think you'll get you definitely won't get the 6th one.
I got
So,
faith in you, Cabbie.
Okay. All right. So net worth. Okay. Well, it starts with Michael, then Tiger,
Yes.
LeBron. I think
3.
Magic with his ownership
Four.
piece in the Dodgers and the
everything.
Lakers and a bunch of
That's
Starbucks
4.
and stuff.
And Sparks.
So one more. Well, 2 more. There's 2 more total. I think one is
I would think that either like their net worth, either Ronaldo or Messi,
Not
gotta
soccer.
be close.
not
Not
soccer.
soccer.
Too,
It's the
yeah.
biggest sport in the world. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Not soccer.
Although
Messi does make his yearly salary is more than every team in MLS except for one. So.
Yes. He's getting there. Yeah.
There's got to be.
They're both
Man.
tennis players.
Roger with his
Yes,
on. He has an
yes.
equity piece in on running. Wow, I forgot about Roger. And the
Yeah.
other tennis player.
You'll never get this. There's no
Have a
chance.
little faith. You never know.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't think I will.
All right, you can just tell him.
And he got 5 of the 6. I'm
Yeah.
really impressed.
Well, you guys
Reti-
gave me Roger.
Yeah.
So
Retired Romanian tennis ace Ion Tiriac.
is this guy like a real estate slumlord or something? Does he have
have
a
no idea.
portfolio of like? Does he own part of a shipping company or something like that, or an oil company? Wow, that's
Yeah.
remarkable.
I
Shout
love
out
it.
to Ion. You know,
Shout out to us being
worth
almost
over $2
billionaires.
billion.
Yeah. Tomorrow we're going
Almost-
to discuss
almost
how much.
millionaires.
Almost
yeah,
billionaires.
yeah.
Almost.
Tomorrow we'll discuss how much we have in our bank account. Thank you for joining us on Off the Roster.
Great beard on Ion Tiriac too.
Thank you for joining us on the live stream. We have much more on the Off the Roster YouTube channel. Interviews, shorts, reels, post-game clips. If you need that Toronto sports fix, we got you.